And welcome to this amazing webinar we have today with Courtney Carroll, who's our inside sales managing partner. Now, Courtney is unique in that she is actually making over 300,000 gross commission income as her take home without ever taking out a client. So how is she doing in this? How has she been able to actually improve and increase her commissions year over year, even with the market being what it was last year? So here we go, Courtney, take it away.
Such a great intro. Thanks so much, and welcome everyone. Thanks so much for taking time to come and watch our webinar. So today we're going to cover everything just about adding prospecting into your lifestyles. And please, at any time, if you have questions, I think the best way, SG, is for them just to put it in the chat, and then SG will ask them for you. Pretty sure that's right. So we'll roll with that.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. So before we get started too far into everything, just a quick once over on who I am. So I am a licensed real estate agent. It's actually closer 13 years now. I think I'm due for my course again, so maybe 14. I have been exclusively inside sales for almost 7 years, in which case I'm just prospecting, creating appointments, and then booking other agents for them. Since I've started in the ISA role, I've converted over $300 million in real estate or brought in over 6 million commissions for our team. Married, 2 kids, and I have a mutt. So that's pretty much the basics of me. I also love to do a quick disclaimer on things. So while I love to give advice on things, my main specialty is about prospecting and building your business. So everything outside of that, I always recommend finding a great coach. We have a lot of members on our team, as well as through XP and other places we could recommend for coaching. With Jen on building your business. My specialty here is just about prospecting, and that's calling around any just listed, just sold, and then online leads, telemarketing, things like that. And that's what I'm going to be covering. So when it comes to actually time to pick up the phone, the first question people are always asking is, who should I be calling? So yes, 50% of your business should be coming from a sphere, unless of course you don't have a large database, then you would get more from sort of these types of methods. The ones that I like to focus on though are the just listed, just sold, buyers who are looking in an area. That's another amazing way. A reason to be picking up the phone and calling people. Any sort of systems like Realtor.ca, Zillow, ones that you can be purchasing. That's another avenue of a database you can be collecting. And then if you've been in business for a while, you've probably had events, contests, webinars, anything that you've compiled everybody's information. You can also be collecting it from things like Facebook or other social media. So you might have an entire database and not quite sure what to do with it. And then that's a system that we can help out with as well. And then my bread and butter now is working online leads. So KB Core, Commissions Inc., Agent Locator, anyone where you're buying a raw lead that hasn't been booked by them. That you yourself are going to call and nurture. That's the systems that we are talking about. And my arrow stopped working. Perfect. Here we go. Okay, so as I was saying, the bread and butter has become online leads. And the reason why they work so great is 96% of buyers at some point during the buying process will look online, like a Realtor.ca, a website such as ours, where it's, generated and through Google search keywords. So 96% of people will at some point end up online. And then the first step, when someone has initially decided that they do want to make a move, 47%, the first thing that they're going to do is go online and start looking at homes, where only 18% are going to call an agent. And I believe we're going to start to see that separate even more as younger generations start to buy. And, there aren't, maybe agents that they've worked with for the last 40 years who have helped them move every time. So there isn't a designated person that they're calling right away. When people do talk to somebody, 67% of them are actually going to work with the first real estate agent that they speak with. So on this side of things, we know 96% of people are going to go online, 47%, that's the first thing that they're going to do, and 67% are going to work with the first people that they talk to. I really want to make sure that we're the first people that they talk to, and a vast majority of them are going to be there. So it's the biggest pool of active buyers to be choosing from. Over here, so this statistic is one I found out more recently, and I thought it was super amazing that 10% of the transactions on the Toronto Real Estate Board last year started with an online inquiry. So those realtor.cas, if you have listings and you get those, if you're have an online website or presence, 10% of the transactions, which for last year would have been 7,500 deals. I believe that is the number. So we want to be part of that big number. As far as the return on investment, an industry average is about 12 and 1. So every $1,000 you're investing in online leads should translate into $12,000 commission. I can tell you that after almost 7 years, our return on investment has consistently been over that 16 to 1. So every $1,000 we've spent on an online program has turned into 16,000 commissions for our team. So it's a pretty fun way to put money, much better than the stock market. They work. That's really, I needed to fill my circle. So that's why they work is in there. And again, 6 or 7 years of doing this, I can tell you that consistently they have translated. So can't see if anyone has questions, but I don't think so. So here is the math for all of those who like numbers, such as myself. And now these numbers are based on 2023, which I can tell you was the not hardest. That sounds like a negative word. More dials were needed in 2023 than in any of the previous years to convert. And that's probably, people who were uncertain about the market, waiting to see for interest rates. Also just, less activity in general across the market and less people answering their phones. So these are your worst case scenario phone numbers or statistics over the last 7 years. And that's 1 in 10. So every 10 phone numbers that you will dial, one person should answer. These numbers are about the same if you're calling around just listed, just sold. Any of those types of telephone prospecting is 1 in 10. Where it changes is if you're doing follow-ups for friends, family, or even leads that you've been talking to, then that answer rate will definitely reduce. More people are going to answer. So 1 in 10 people are going to answer the phone when you dial them. 1 in every 25 conversations should lead to a booked appointment. And it's important that you're tracking these numbers so you can see where you need to improve. Is it the numbers that I'm dialing? Do I need a better list? Are my conversations not going as they should? Or here we move over to the 1 in 5. And that was a huge leap from 1 in 4. So 1 in every 5 booked appointments with a new person should convert into an actual deal. So that one person might go out multiple times and then that wouldn't count. But 1 in 5 new people that you have booked should convert into a deal. And then that translates into 1,250 dials in order to get paid, which is the majority of the fund. So these are those numbers. And again, tracking those numbers so you can see these KPIs, like where do I need to improve, or, what am I really off at? Then that's super important. Again, the arrow button is not working. Okay, so you're probably thinking 1,250 phone calls is a lot. And it is. I'm not here to tell you that this isn't a lot of work. I just like to break it down to make it so simple. So 1,250 calls, that translates into about 25 hours of dialing. So even if you are an active agent, that should be about 1 week of good hard work. The average house price in Ontario is $836,000. I apologize for those that are in the middle of Tennessee, where it's, $250,000 or $300,000. However, that is our prices here. So 836,000. The average commission rate is 2.25%, which translates into $18,810 commission, or an average pay of $752.40 an hour. So now that I've converted you to dialing, here's where I get super passionate. Multitasking while you're dialing. Now, these aren't, again, your friends or family or clients that you have talked to and you're nurturing. These are calling just complete strangers where you have a script and you're going to say the same thing. And when we look at those numbers, we're going to call 10 people before we get a conversation. So during those 9 numbers that aren't getting answered, maximizing your time by doing some multitasking allows you to hit those 25 hours a week of prospecting without cutting into your time as a real estate agent or cutting into your time, as a mom or wife or a friend or whatever it is that you're doing. So the pros about doing a multitasking, which we'll go into, is it gives you the freedom. It makes it more sustainable. You accomplish, where are my people that love those check marks? That's me. I love a good check mark. So that sense of accomplishment is amazing, and it really makes it limitless what you can be doing and how much money you can actually be making if you're not strapping yourself to a desk and using that as the only time that you can prospect. So the cons, yes, you make mistakes. My best hack I can ever give is people dialing that a majority, not everyone, a majority of voicemails, if you press the star button, it is going to delete what you said. And that has saved me many of times from saying the wrong thing or, being on hold while I'm doing something else. So press star, that solves most problems. There's all these studies that tell you multitasking is wrong. I just don't like those studies. So if you do believe it, then yes, this is not for you. However, for those of us that are open to making a few mistakes for a greater good, then this is definitely the way to do it. So things you can be doing are just those like monotonous tasks, either if it's around the house, folding laundry, I'm a big sock person, administrative work, anything where it's like, I don't need to concentrate on those numbers that are ringing, and I need to be able to stop what I'm doing so I can give an undivided attention when the 1 in 10 people do pick up the phone. So that's sort of that gauging. For me, it's walking the dog. You can be updating your clients' property searches, housework, things like that. Vacuuming, I don't recommend it, and I've done it. So, I'm open to making mistakes and learning. This is a good visual for our visual people. This is what my kids did for us. So things not to be doing. A lot of times it should just be common sense. You wouldn't want to get caught in a majority of these things while on the phone. And again, I have also been caught doing bench presses while I was dialing because I was behind on my numbers for the week. I wasn't hitting a personal best. However, it's a long haul. So act accordingly. These are just fun tips. Oh, there's a question.
We have more of a comment, I would say.
Thank you. Yes.
Saying you can press star to delete a voicemail you have recorded and re-record. Yeah. That's mind-blowing.
It's a good one. It is a good one. And see,
I do have another one too, Courtney.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, John is asking, how many times do you call the same lead? Are you calling from the same number all the time, or do you call from multiple numbers?
Oh, those are good end of the presentation questions. But John, let's do it because I've multitasked. Yes, I'm dialing from the same phone number. I use the number that pops up on my dialing system. Every once in a while, I might spice it up and just use my cell phone number. They all go to the same place, and any lead in their first 7 days of their life, as I like to call it, They get 2 to 3 phone calls a day every day for the first 7 days, 1 to 2 phone calls a day for the next 8 to 14, 1 a day for the next 15 to 30 days, and then every once in a while based on activity. Clear as mud, I'm sure, but I will go over it too. Okay, so some more hacks here, and that's just improving your dialing answer rates from 8 in the morning till 10 in the morning and 4 p.m. till 6 p.m. Those are the best days. Those asterisks right there are because whatever time you're going to dial is the best time. My dialer is usually running solid from 8:30 till 4. 4 o'clock is when I become a mom again. And then I'll throw down once or twice a week, either like a 6 to 8 or a Saturday 10 till 2 is a good time slot too. Same thing goes with the best days are Wednesday and Thursday. That's from Harvard. I call bull. I get great answer rates every day. And I would say Monday, I get more people on the phone, and Friday I circle in with everyone with a like, hey, do you want to go out for the weekend, and get great answers then too. So whenever you're going to dial is the best, but those times they do agree are the better ones. Time blocking when you're going to dial, super important. If you move into a world where you're getting online leads or realtor.ca ones, calling them within their first 5 minutes is 21 times more likely than if you take 30 minutes to call them back. So those trump everything. As soon as someone registers, you're picking up the phone and dialing them right away. Don't worry about looking at what they were doing or, trying to solve some sort of riddle. Just use our same script and call them within the first 5 minutes. As far as someone just asked about how many times do you call them? So it takes an average of 6 phone calls in order to actually reach a lead. So, and the number shows you that I think it's 72% of real estate agents will give up after 3 dials. And it takes an average of 6 to get there. So the majority aren't actually ever going to reach their leads because they're not calling them. Anna, I think, just sold a deal on our team, and it was, I think, 37 phone calls we had done before we actually got them booked, and then however many phone calls it took. So it takes a lot, and just depends. There also are great ones where you call one time, they want to go look at a property, and within 2 weeks we had another amazing agent on our team do that, and within 2 weeks he's done $7 million or $6 million of transactions. So it's all over, and I guess that's why that's an average, but I will never lose a deal from a lack of effort or phone call attempts. So creating that perfect schedule has been a huge thing for me, and allows you again to free up to multitask with your dials. So in the mornings or at nighttime after the girls go to bed, that's when I'm using time to create my lists for the next day or that morning, replying to any of the emails from clients that require thought, because you can do easy emails while they're dialing. Anything thought-provoking is done off dialing hours, prepping, updating their searches and things like that. So creating a design where nothing is interrupting. I'm not thinking while I'm doing my dials. The dialing is outside, just said that. Also, yes, so the vast majority is phone calls and picking up the phone. And there are AI and there are systems and there's all this awesome things that assist with it. Nothing like you still have to pick up the phone, but creating automation to assist you, which is like a campaign or auto track, depending what system you're using, that sends emails automatically that you have pre-created. So, send this person an email every 4 days for the next year until I have said otherwise, which is like, unless I have a conversation with them, they're going to get a series of emails, text messages, and notifications without me. So I don't have to think outside of picking up that phone and dialing them. And there's also processes. Let's say you talk to someone, but their timeline to buy is, 12 or more months out. Having a system that automates that, So you, again, aren't using your brain power or bandwidth or energy to nurture them, and allows you, okay, well, I'm just going to call them every quarter and it's going to send me a reminder so I don't even have to think about it. And then in my reminder will tell me, okay, you're going to say to them, hey, I know your timeline is a year out, you know, this, that, and this, and all of that is set up for you. So, and you're doing all that outside the dialing time. It allows you just to focus on it, and doesn't let things take away from the time that you've delegated to call. Simple setup is like using a headset. I've gone through, I thought I had them, multiple different headsets. These pods are awesome. Have 2 pair because you'll lose them like I do, or I go through them. I will use one whole battery within a day. I usually switch over about 2 o'clock to my second pair and invest in the ones that beep because you lose them like I do. Or wash them in the washing machine, but they've actually survived multiple ones. Sometimes I'm feeling gangster and I use those Dr. Dre beats. Those are fun. But really the pods have the best clarity. I have the one ear one that I like, and the quality was really great. It just found it was like a headache maybe. So I don't know. I play around with it. The point is you don't have to get anything over extravagant. But the headset is a game changer when you want to move into the world of multitasking. Dialer is awesome. My dog's name is Mojo from the Mojo Dialer. That is definitely the most, if you don't have an existing CRM or dialing software, that it's very basic and also very robust, that it can connect with telelisting for calling around just listed, just sold, as well as you can import lists from the majority of websites that are like Commissions Inc., Agent Locator. You can download it into each other, which is probably not the technical term. However, if you're just getting into this and you don't want to start spending a lot of money or overcommitting, you can also just put your lists into Excel. And this is another fun hack. And if you put the Excel on your phone, like email it to yourself, and you click view instead of download, it turns all the phone numbers into hyperlinks. So you can go out onto a trail and click on the phone numbers rather than having to like manually dial them or copy and paste it into your phone. So that's a big time saver, which is like, it's just a numbers game. And, you know, the sooner you think of it like that, it's just like, I know I need to get through 200 phone numbers today to hit my 1,000 to hit a deal a week. So that's a big hack. And then tracking it again, so just so you can see where do I suck or I don't suck. Look how much better I am than that Courtney girl. So tracking it is really fun. And when you beat my numbers, please let me know, and then I could update mine or learn from you. Consistent and realistic, like this takes months. I had to listen to this being called my hobby, because it took months of not getting paid any money, before finally somebody bought. And then, you know, like in real estate, you're 30, 60, 90 days before you get paid. So if you don't have enough money to buy craft dinner, maybe also take something that pays you hourly in the meantime, and get started, because after a few months, it translates into hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars an hour, and it's awesome. Motivation, it is not my strength to motivate other people, so figure out what is going to motivate you. For me, it's just winning, which I should probably talk to somebody about, but that's what helps. And knowing every day that I'm going to wake up and it's like, oh, I'm going to do this. So that definitely keeps me motivated. Okay. Oh, there's the animation because it's still not working. Perfect. Okay. So I think we're still good for time. If and when you become crazy and into this, here's my favorite hack, or win, I guess, is dialing when I'm somewhere else. So I have, as we all do in sales, an amazing ability to pitch anything. And I can justify really any trip, because I can then time block and work out to how much I make an hour and decide, you know what, it's a really cold week coming up. I'm going to fly to Florida and I will do all my dials there. And I know I make $5 every time I make a phone call. And for just $10 to $20 a day, depending who your plan is, you can get those like roam from home, I think is how they call it. I'm using what the cool kids say. And that allows you just to make your phone call. It's the same as I was dialing from here. I can dial in there. These are all my little dots where I have made phone calls and made money in the last 6 months. And next week, guys, next week, I'm going to pay for Costa Rica. I'm super excited about that because it is a fun challenge that I will just time block 2 to 4 hours a day and be able to cover the expense of the vacation. And even when I'm with my kids, they're all on the same program. It's lots more fun if you go over to the West Coast because you can get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, get your workout, and do 2 or 3 hours of dials, which is here the morning prime time. And nobody else is even awake, and they get up, and you're rich, and you're in shape, and it's winning. It's winning, and that is what we're here for. You're here to win, which probably is again not what we should be saying. However, this is a really fun way to change your mindset if you're like me, and I love to go places. I also love to be at home and in the middle of nowhere. But that's a really fun way of doing it. And so if you're doing it though, make sure you are time blocking. Again, anytime you dial is awesome. And if I was only going to do 2 hours a day of dialing, I would really want to make sure I'm hitting that 8 to 10 o'clock in the morning or the 4 till 6. And that's what the trips when I'm away is like. I'm only doing those prime times or following up with those juicy leads. I load those up too. That's Wednesday in Costa Rica is juicy lead day. So doing that is super important. Here, this is the vast majority of my time for multitasking is being out on a hiking trail. A little more nervous, guys. There's a cougar apparently in Peterborough, so we have to be more careful. But with that, nonetheless, so once you've mastered your script, and you don't have to master the whole thing, we'll send out, SG is going to make it so we can send out to everyone the basic online lead script that we use. And it's really the first 20 seconds of the script that no matter what they say, always stays the same. And once you've mastered that, the rest is just conversation. And that's what you're good at. That's why you're a real estate agent, is because you're good with building rapport and having conversations. So it's really just a matter of nailing those first 20 seconds inside and out. Doesn't matter where you are. And so once you have that mastered, you've figured out either a dialing software. So Mojo has an app, Commissions Inc. has an app, a bunch of them. So that allows you to be mobile. Once you've done that, you have a good headset. If you don't have, I have a big old dog. So I'm comfortable wearing both. I would say if you don't, then probably just one headset so the other one can be on alert for bad guys or cougars, which could also be bad guys. So having that, and then knowing your path and trails that have reception, shoot me over text or an Instagram, and I can tell you all the ones, at least in the Kawarthas, York region area, because there's some you can go hours without having a problem. And then there are others that just suck. So I can let you know that, but that makes a big difference as far as efficiency. Bringing a backup charger. I have one of those portable ones if I'm going out for the day. And then two sets of pods also. Like snacks and drinks, but I just have a fear of starving to death. So you don't have to do that. And a pet or a pal. We've done them on our team. I'm on the Jennifer Jones team. We've done hike and dial days, which are really fun. I mean, you end up talking and having a little bit more fun maybe than as efficient as dialing, but that's also part of the game. Because then it doesn't feel like you're prospecting for 4 hours and you're sitting at this desk being annoyed with this girl who told you how to make phone calls to make lots of money, when you're out on a trail and getting fresh air and with someone else who's also doing it. It's just a better way of spending our day. It's not a task if it's that. And again, you're making $700 an hour to go on a hiking trail and make lots of money. So that's fun. I think that's it. And I talked really fast, so I apologize because that was going to be an hour and it was a half an hour, which gives us time for dialing or questions. Hopefully questions. I don't think SG. There you
Yep.
are.
Sorry, I had
Yay.
trouble unmuting myself.
That's like, yeah, I fail at that
Didn't
every
wanna-
time we have a meeting.
Didn't want to
So.
like I wanted to. We do have a question from Kim. Kim is asking, how large is your database to sustain this level of calls?
Well, we have a big one. And that's because, I mean, that's just from years. However, the amount that you would actively be working with, once you filtered out the bad numbers or the good numbers would only be a couple thousand, maybe. Those prime, the 1 to 7 days, like I was saying, those ones who are the first 7 days of their lives, I think our list is only 50 people right now that are getting those calls 3 times a day or 2 times a day. So I'm only making only making 200 phone calls a day. I hit 50,000 phone calls last year, which translated though into almost $60 million of real estate transactions. If that answers the question. But if you were calling like just listed, just sold, any of those, like that would be an infinite database that you could be calling. It doesn't have to be you who just listed the house or just sold. It could be your brokerage. It could really be anyone on the Toronto Real Estate Board, or calling any, if you have buyers who are looking in a specific pocket, that's always a good one. And maybe they're buyers who are your children. My children would really like to live in the Wallace and Weller community. So I would say them, like they have a buyer, right? You're just looking for a reason. If you're going to be a good guy, you're not going to try and like bamboozle them into doing something really bad, then it's okay to do that. Like to call and be like, I have buyers who are looking. Like if you're showing up and offering them at like the highest level of service and you are going to do a good job, for me, getting over those fears of doing those things, same with like you call them 3 times a day. It's like, well, I am like passionate that we will do the best job, and I'm doing a disservice to Joe Smith, who registered on the website, if I allow him to get into the hands of anyone else. And I know he will, because we know 10% of the deals came from an online lead inquiry. And we know 96% of the people are going to go online, and we know 50 or so are going to work with the first person that they talk to. That does motivate me, because I do think we'll do the best job. So if you think you'll be a good agent, then you should also get passionate about it. How many times do you watch people do deals, or you hear about it and you're like, oh gosh, like that. So yeah, anyways, got a little
So we
gushy on.
have someone asking, what was the tip at the beginning about deleting and re-recording a message you
For
hit?
$17, I'll tell you. I'm just kidding. Press star. Not always. A vast majority of the time is star. Sometimes it doesn't work and I panic. 7 and 3 sometimes works too. Or just keep hitting buttons and then hang up, or I don't know, leave somebody else's name, maybe an agent you don't like. Don't actually do that. Jen, I've never done that. Okay. Next question is true.
Maybe can we press star and it'll
Yeah,
delete
can
those
we
messages?
press
I'm
star on that?
laughing. I'm laughing. I am
Oh my God,
laughing.
that's funny. And then we have someone asking, so in the 9 calls where you don't reach anyone, do you leave a message, and do they ever call back when you leave a voicemail?
I do not leave voicemails. Almost ever. I'll go on blitzes for one day where I'll pre-record a generic enough message that I can automate it. Like you can, on a dialer, you can say leave pre-recorded message. Maybe twice, I don't want to say quarter, maybe twice a year might be, hey, it's Courtney with the Jennifer Jones team. Spring is sprung, and we're super excited. Like something like that. And then I would do it. Otherwise, no, they don't know who I am. And I've listened to 1,000, you know, stories on why yes and why no, and leaving a generic one. So it like has a bit of a hook, and then they call back and then they're like, oh, I thought it was something important, which it is. We are important. But no, I don't. From a time aspect, I would rather use my time and energy just dialing the next person. If it's someone that I'm nurturing who's on a long time nurture, or, you know, hasn't answered the last few, then yeah, I definitely leave them a personalized voicemail, just because it's like a touch. I just want, oh, right, that's that crazy girl that keeps calling me. I do that, but strangers, no.
So just to clarify, Courtney,
Yes.
John is saying, so basically you're calling them until you get them live on the phone, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, perfect.
That would've been
Then
simple.
we have Shannon asking, well, first of all, she's saying thank you for this.
Oh, you're welcome.
And do you use a platform for online leads?
Yeah, like KV Core, Commissions Inc., and Agent Locator would be 3 active ones.
Perfect. And Kim is asking, will you do a follow-up Zoom to explain how to organize your leads in FUB or other CRM systems if you use tags, stages, etc.?
That, Kim, is a great idea.
And the wheels are turning.
Yeah, we actually just did a training for a team in Stouffville about this. Essentially, it was very like, okay, let's compile your entire database. And now here's what we're going to do with it, which is like call them. Okay, bad phone number. Those people go and live over here. And then they're going to get an email series, or like didn't answer, and they'll go here. So yeah, you know what? That sounds like a really fun idea, which we can probably arrange and let you know.
Awesome. And I can probably answer this last question. Will a recording be sent out for this? Well, yes, there will be. We will be sending you a replay, so that way you have access to the information that Courtney went over. And if you do have any other questions, her contact information will be in there as well. So you can always reach out to Courtney directly as well. Any other questions?
Sorry, I was so fast. Efficient.
No, this was great. Very efficient. This is so you got to get back on the phone.
Can we edit out the part where I said leave another agent's voicemail if you screw up?
We
We'll
press
just-
Yeah,
start. It's
that's
gone.
a no. That's
Gone.
that's a no.
So
We've
good.
actually had other people do that with door knocking, but we won't go there. And it was other people using saying it was our team. So there you go.
See,
Like,
Yeah,
there.
we don't like to spread around that kind of karma, guys. It's all
We
positive.
don't really. I was only kidding. I wouldn't do it.
Yes.
So good. John is
Okay,
saying,
well,
this has been very helpful. Thank you in all caps.
Oh, perfect. Yell that. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Courtney's
Awesome.
amazing. Okay, well, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you, SG, for hosting this for us. Thank you, Courtney, for sharing everything. And we do have Courtney doing a follow-up to this one. We've got a couple others coming as well. So we will send out an invite. You can always email us as well. So Courtney@jj.team to get yourself added to a list where we can send you out all the trainings that we're doing. We are number 7 on the Toronto Real Estate Board out of 77,000 realtors here in Toronto. So always willing to share and help you grow your business. So thanks again, guys.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.